What happens is they do it for a week, a couple weeks, a month, and then, oh, I'm busy, and the world pulls them back away. They make the effort. They know it's the right thing. They know intuitively. Just as you're here studying this material, you know how important it is. Something brought you here. So you're going to start, and you'll try in your own way to do what you want to do to improve this body-mind relationship, to do the yoga, to spiritualize your life. The key thing is not how much you do it, but how consistently you do it for the rest of your life. That's the key. And I tell people that. Do work on the consistency. Work on the continuity of your practice. Yes?
2 questions.
Yes.
One is, so I kind of fell on the same problem.
Yes.
You know, initially I tried to do yoga every day, but it takes about an hour, 45 minutes to do yoga, and then I do like art of living meditation, which takes another 45 minutes to an hour.
Right.
And there is like just no time. You know, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I want to be out of the house by 8:30.
Right. Yeah, that's the same excuse everyone else comes up with. There's no time.
I want to understand how can we package it into our daily life? I want to be able to do yoga, but you know, if it was.
Yeah, well, you have to learn that. I'm going to talk about that, but the most important thing that you can do is surround yourself with people that are doing it, that are examples of it. And that's how I learned. You know, I've been fortunate to have been, you know, my guru is Paramahansa Yogananda. You know, for years, my formative years, I was able to practice, go to the ashram, meditate at the ashram, receive counseling from, you know, disciples, direct disciples of Yogananda, spending time with David Frawley, spiritual people, you know, and then they influence you. You know, if you spend time with people that have a lot of money, then you will probably make a lot of money. If you spend time with people that like to eat a lot of food, you'll probably eat a lot of food. If you spend time with people that are creative and artistic and paint and draw and sing, then chances are you're probably going to be very good at that. And that's the law. What you do the most, you become. That's it. It's a cumulative system. At the very end of your life, you add up the hours, and whatever you've done the most, whatever you've been exposed to the most, is the sum of your vibration. That's who you are. So choose these things wisely, and as you choose them, slowly they will empower you. They will empower you. You know, everybody, I always say, we all follow the same clock, 24 hours a day. Everybody's busy. The kids are busy, the bus driver's busy, the baker, the plumber, everybody's busy. It's a matter of time. And you make time for what's important to you. We make time for who is important to us in our lives. That's the bottom line. If your husband or wife is important to you, your girlfriend is important to you, you make time for them. If being healthy is important for you, you make time for them. If cooking is important to you, you make time to cook. If making money is important to you, you'll make time for those things. That's it. That's where it's a matter of where you place your attention and your mind. Yes?
In the context of the same question, I mean, are you going to touch upon, you know, there's, like you said, hundreds of yoga postures, right? Is there a subset which you would say, you know, in your daily life, you must do these 5? You know, kind of to her point, so you can distill it within half an hour, maybe.
Yeah, there's ways to simplify it. There are millions of these postures, and one of the sacred yogic texts reduces it down to 32. That are actually practical, but even less than that, what I do in sort of prescriptive application of using these postures, I'll say to a person whenever I do consultations, I'll say, you know what, here's 3 or 4 postures. Do these every day. It'll take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's not how long you do it, but it's that little bit each day. It's like that chipping at the bit every day. And then after a year, 3 years, 5 years, the spinal issue has been corrected. If it's a scoliosis or lumbago, whatever it is, even digestive things can be corrected in a shorter period of time. So it can be that simple. It can be that simple. See, the yoga classes, you go to the fitness centers or yoga centers like mine, where you generally do a class between 75 minutes to 2 hours. That's a very complete practice. That's a very complete practice. But that's also for people who are very advanced and people who are very serious about their sadhana, their daily routine. And I mean, I have all types of people. People that have 6, 7 kids, a business with employees up to 10, 20 employees that are there 2, 3 times a week, that are just as busy as anybody else. And I have people who are single that are very busy, that are there 2 hours or 3 or 4 times a week. So what happens is that you start with something very little, and you realize that that's a big sacrifice for you. And after a period of time, if you stick with it, it's not enough. And that 10 minutes becomes 30 minutes. The 30 minutes becomes 2 hours. And then you realize, wow, now I've dedicated 2 to 3 hours of my day to my health, my spiritual development, and the well-being and the joy that I feel in my life. And see, this shift begins to happen when this relationship improves, and when the consciousness starts to move from here up, we start to dedicate more to the deeper spiritual, health-related, lifestyle-related practices. Because we're no longer pulled externally by the senses as much as we are now. Right now, probably 95 to 99% of your attention is drawn out by the 5 senses. So your mind, your manas mind says, well, you know, I'm very busy, I have only so little time. But what happens is that as you awaken the other aspect of your mind, you realize, I get more benefit, I'm getting more benefit from these things than I am getting from these external things. And they start to weigh themselves out, they start to balance out. And that, it's a beautiful shift that happens, and I hope that everyone experiences it. I'm a product of that experience. I mean, I'm an American-born kid, raised with all the American things, sitcoms, junk food, parties, drugs, alcohol. I did all of that stuff.